You're watching the Michigan Football Report, the most watched Michigan football program in the entire world. My name is James Yoder, the king of Michigan football media. Follow me on Twitter, where I put out all kinds of DMs and tweets this week about the Michigan football program. So we're bringing back this segment, the Michigan Football Mailbag. Let's take a look at the first question. Comes from my man, Blue Blitz. He's at Medicare Advice. If you want your Medicare Advice 1 on Twitter. He's your guy. Also a great follow for Michigan football. He is very well connected. I can assure you on that one. So Perry or Martin starting at slot. So I want to throw up this graphic here, show you where I have put this out on our website, chatsports.com/Michigan-Wolverines a couple of days ago, where the Michigan football depth chart is right now. So we've got Oliver Martin, the redshirt freshman, and Grant Perry, who is a senior, on there as the starters. I've got them battling out for the starting job, but the new wrinkle in the offense is Donovan Peoples-Jones taking a lot of snaps at slot. And when he takes snaps at slot, you're going to see Tarik Black and Nico Collins, who we've got here, battling out for their wide receiver 1 spot. Collins moves over to the wide receiver 2 spot, and Donovan Peoples-Jones at the slot. That may be Michigan's best lineup, is when they put 3 wide receivers, is to have Peoples-Jones at the slot, and then maybe Tarik Black and Nico Collins, 2 much bigger guys than Peoples-Jones on the outside, give Michigan a lot of mismatches going along with those very, very tall tight ends. Michigan could have a new wrinkle in the offense. It might not be Grant Perry. It might not be Oliver Martin. Donovan Peoples-Jones is getting some snap there, so we'll see how that develops over the next 2 weeks. We are 2 weeks down to Michigan football at Notre Dame on September 1st, 7:30 p.m. Eastern game under the lights in Notre Dame. So thanks for the question there. Perry and Martin starting at slot. I've got them tied neck and neck, a slight edge to Martin right now, but Donovan Peoples-Jones is in the he's in the conversation right now to potentially take that role because of the emergence of Nico Collins and the continued great play of Tarik Black. All right, next question. Our main man, George Cleveland. Follow him at the _real_proud. He says, I've been hearing about this basketball and turf scenario that has Tarik Black and Nico Collins on the outside with DPJ in the slot, Gentry at the tight end. If true, Shea's going to have a field day. So the questions are in order for a reason. I alluded to this one in the last one. Knew George's question was coming up next. So this is the interesting wrinkle. I broke last week's show that Michigan is going 50% or more out of a shotgun set. Here is the next development out of that, is that they have found that potentially the best lineup is Donovan Peoples-Jones in the slot. Of course, you've got Zach Gentry, who can go out as like a slot-style tight end, a big-body guy. But think about the scenario. Is Donovan Peoples-Jones the guy you always want going deep? Is he the always one you want who has got to break on a route perfectly? He didn't show great route running last year in 2017 as a true freshman. So is he a guy you can maybe slip under a wide receiver, slip on that slide, that kind of slot underneath, maybe slip behind a tight end as they both cross, get the ball 4 or 5 yards off the line of scrimmage, and go? I think it is an interesting wrinkle. I think we're going to see quite a bit of it on September 1st at Notre Dame and beyond, just based on the success that had with this in practice, this past week as they started to put in more and more of the shotgun offense. So thank you. Go follow George on Twitter. Next up, Donnie Simmons, one of the great Michigan fans out there. DIS Go Blue 24. Really like what this guy brings. Very passionate fan. He asks, how well are the receivers responding to Coach Mack? Of course, Jim McElwain. How is the battle for the slot position turning out? So we talked about the slot position. Talk about Jim McElwain. We came in. He's a former coach at Florida, former coach at Colorado State, former offensive coordinator, 2 national titles at Alabama. Here is what head football coach Jim Harbaugh had to say on the Big Ten Network.
I mean, he coaches hard every day, and he's really completely thrown himself into it. I mean, brings the energy, brings the enthusiasm every single day, and he's got a great love for football, and our team has grown very fond of him very quickly, and he's grown fond of our team very quickly, and a wealth of knowledge, but he is really taking the bull by the horns, and he's doing a great job.
There's Jim Harbaugh. A lot of coach speak there, but clearly Harbaugh likes what he sees out of McElwain. They competed in the field a few times, bowl game, and of course the opener last year. Donnie Simmons, go follow him on Twitter, and you can follow Chat Sports and the Michigan Football Report on YouTube. We are blowing up on YouTube. Over 10 million viewers a month for Chat Sports in the month of July. We're breaking records in August and beyond. They'll be your go-to spot for Michigan football coverage. The Michigan Football Report 3 times a week now going forward, and this is one of the programs. Chat chatsports.com/YouTube redirects you, or you can just search Chat Sports or Michigan Football Report. Either one will take you to the right spot on YouTube, the second best search engine in the world, behind, of course, Google. Next up on Yoder's mailbag, the Michigan football mailbag, Thomas Judge at TJudge70 says, is Harbaugh on the hot seat? And if not, what would make him after this season? I think he's not in the hot seat right now. I do think that Michigan fans see the potential of Jim Harbaugh. Certainly feel that Michigan is in a better spot now than they were 3 years ago, 5 years ago, 8 years ago. I think the only time Michigan was in a better position, I believe, was leading in the 2007 season. We kind of saw what happened there, starting off the year with 2 losses, one of them being to Appalachian State, Lloyd Carr's final year. And it's been kind of a down decade outside of 2 or 3 seasons since then. So Jim Harbaugh's not in the hot seat. What would put him on the hot seat this year, I think, is 4 losses or 0-3 versus Notre Dame, Ohio State, and Michigan State on the road, which means we're extending out that road losing streak against top 25 teams to a 12th season. Michigan has not won on the road against a top 25 team since 2006. And so we see the results against the 2 big rivals. Has not played Notre Dame here. 1 win in 2016 against a Michigan State team that frankly went 3-9. So against any team with a pulse. Now, these have been teams that have gone to the playoffs. Ohio State in 2016. Michigan State in 2015, 2017. Both those teams had really great records, really great teams. So these aren't slouches. And of course, 2 of those losses came down to 1 play. Colin Cowherd said this. I've repeated this many times. Had 2 plays gone the other way. The fumbled snap against Michigan State. The JT Barrett is short. Michigan would have started in the regular season at least 21-3 in Harbaugh's first 2 seasons. Had an opportunity to go to the playoffs. So not in the hot seat yet. But keep an eye out. He cannot start 1-7 against Michigan State and Ohio State. And certainly going on the road to Notre Dame is a big way to get people, thinking Michigan's heading in the right direction with all this talent. And, of course, with Shea Patterson, a big-time name at quarterback. So, want to ask you guys a question, because this is something we're considering here at Chat Sports. Would you want to watch the game with me? Would a Michigan football watch party, not the game itself, but if we put it on YouTube, if we put it on Facebook Live, maybe even Periscope, would you be interested in a camera on me with stats and graphics and questions streaming from the audience on screen? Would that make sense to you? Would you want to ask me questions during the game? Maybe if we can allow it, we can have you guys call in and ask questions on there. Would this interest you at all, considering doing it for any game that I am not at this year, but want to know from you guys, would you be interested in that? Don't want to put out something that no one would be interested in me. So comment below. Do you want to watch the game with Yoder? Let me know. Next up on Yoder's mailbag, Patrick Long. Love his name. Hakeem of Wakanda. Great name in reference to a recent movie. Will we see an aggressive offense this year? Do we think more Braylon type shots downfield? So I think yes and no. I do think the offense, based on everything I've been told and what I've been hearing for the last 6 months after Michigan's offensive coordinator kind of changed hands in January, February timeframe, with Tim Drevno moving on to USC, was going to get demoted at Michigan. They decided to part ways with them. I think we're going to see a more aggressive offense, much more shotgun, much certainly scoring more touchdown passes than in 2017. But I don't think we're going to see a lot of downfield passing. That's the one area that the offense has continued to struggle, even in this fall camp, and is the reason why the shotgun sets with Peoples-Jones at slot sometimes has been more effective, because Michigan is putting in an offense that is 3, 4, 5, 6 yards passing. We're going to allude to this in another part of the Michigan Football Report this week. The Patriots are the model for what Michigan's doing. You see all day where they dink and dunk all the way down the field, and then when it's time, they go long to one of the wide receivers, or maybe to Gronk streaking down the middle uncovered. Yes, how does Rob Gronkowski get so uncovered? But that is the answer how. So yes, they'll be more aggressive. No, I don't think we're going to see some air raid attack with 30 and 40 yard throws downfield as much as some people might think with Shea Patterson. Think shorter passes, higher completion, higher efficiency, and less likely to get an interception. Next up, Chris Crewley, really a good guy. We chat on DM all the time. What are the chances we can go throughout the regular season without a starting quarterback stepping out because of an injury? Now, it's been a while, right? So Jake Rudock in 2015, but prior to that, 2014 saw Devin Gardner be benched. 2013, I believe he made it through the entire season. I could be wrong there by a game, but 12, Denard got hurt. In 11, Tate Forcier had to come in for a game, if I recall correctly. 10, that was Tate Forcier. 11, Denard made it through the entire season. But most years, Michigan has a quarterback out at least a game. I am putting it as maybe like less than 50%. Not that I think Shea's going to get benched, but will he get injured? He's not the biggest guy. He's 6'2", maybe 200, 210 pounds, soaking wet. Some have called him 6'1", that have stood next to him. I've seen a few pictures. So So I think it's probably better than likely. Michigan went through 3 quarterbacks last year, and if you consider Brandon Peters' injury, O'Korn had to come back in. You think about that as 4 because it was Spate, it was O'Korn, it was Peters' injury, and then O'Korn had to come back in. So really they went through 4 quarterbacks, although 3 guys got playing time last year. So I would say it's less than 50-50. Shea Patterson is a guy who's going to take off and run. He's going to try and make plays, trying to extend things. He is opening himself up to more potential hits. So follow me there on Twitter as you see that. I don't know if I've mentioned that enough, but Mizzen and Main sponsoring the show. They've got the most viral commercial on the internet right now. I want to toss it to our sponsor, Mizzen and Main. Oh, we're back. All right, so that's the Mizzen and Main commercial. I'm considering being their next sponsor. You see these dance moves? These things aren't given away for free. Okay, Mizzen, you want me to do more than promoting in the Michigan Football Report? I am down to do the next commercial. Whoa, golf ball. Whoa, okay, cool. Next question coming up, we've got Cornelius. Besides the rumored shotgun offense, by the way, follow him, C_DEE_Jakes. Besides the rumored shotgun offense, increased RPO, what else would we expect different from the Michigan offense, such as more tempo, option reads, anything like that? So outside of shotgun, outside of RPO, I think you might see Chris Evans line up as a wide receiver, maybe take that Eddie McDoom spot where he comes in motion and gets those end arounds that Michigan's been doing for well over almost 20 years. Has been a staple of the offense through multiple head coaches. So I think Chris Evans may take that slot, get him and Crowd Higdon on the field together. I also think you might see 2 running backs and also a running back and a fullback out of the shotgun set, and maybe have one of those guys kind of start in the backfield and then go out in motion before the snap. So I think Michigan's going to be very flexible. One other thing you might be surprised to see, might see Zach Gentry take a number of roles. Him and Sean McCune might be in the field, but not both at tight end. One might be a wide receiver. The other one, or kind of a big slot with a tight end inside. Also might see one of those guys line up as an H-back out of the backfield, kind of creates an offensive mismatch. I think Michigan is really going to focus on creating mismatches with all this skill position talent and a quarterback that can finally put the ball, in the breadbasket when it is required. So Cornelius, thank you for the question. Keep them coming all day. I'm always down to answer them, DM or on Twitter, James T. Yoder. Up next, Tony Martone. I think of Martone or Martoni. Go follow him on Twitter. Very good question. I was thinking wow, this is a good question. Why don't you hear about Aubrey Solomon that much? Good question. Came in last year, stole Brian Monet's job by the end of the year, became a starter as a true freshman, the 5-star out of Georgia in the 2017 class, defensive tackle. Why don't we hear more from him? Good question. I actually think it's because how talented the rest of Michigan's defense is, and the fact that everyone thinks he's starting, no one thinks he's going to be as good as Winovich or Rashawn Gary. So the focus is on, will these guys come back, these 4, 5, 6 guys on defense that could go pro early, this junior class, or who's going to take that other linebacker spot? Who's going to take the open defensive line spot on the defensive tackle next to Aubrey Solomon? A lot of people think it's going to be Michael Dwumfor. So he has been a forgotten man, but after Winovich, after Rashawn Gary leave the program, probably after this year for both of them, definitely for Winovich, Solomon is going to be the star of the defensive line in 2019, hopefully 2020 if he stays for all 4 years. So not a lot of buzz around him because of all the stars on Michigan's defense, but I think he is a future all Big Ten player, and certainly I believe an NFL player down the road. All right, next question up, we've got Duff Daddy 71, Billy D. Any word on kickoff and punt returns? That's been one of the parts of the I guess fall camp and even in the spring that we haven't heard a lot about. I've even asked about it when I get this question. Didn't garner a ton of information. The only thing I can garner is this graphic that's going to go on screen here in a moment, is that Michigan needs to improve, most specifically on kickoff returns. 110th in the country the last 2 years. We see those putrid numbers after a massive 2015. So came in hot. The special teams coordinator went on to, I believe, USC after 2015. Now, some blamed him for the debacle with the drop punt in the 2015 Michigan State game. But third in the nation in kickoff returns to 110th. That seems a tad ridiculous to me. So Michigan needs to improve. They've moved some people around. Chris Partridge going to take a little extra action in the special teams. Jay Harbaugh previously had. So will they get it together to get Michigan to not put the offense in such poor position on kickoffs in 2018? We need to get back to what they were in 2015, third in the country. All right, people have been asking me about my outfit. They said, James, you are looking good lately. What's going on with your outfits, with your appearance? And I say, hey, it is Mizzen and Main. They are sponsoring this show. Check out their website right here, Mizzen and Main. Comfortable.af. They're not just sponsoring the show. They are providing me clothing. Look at this. It looks like it's biceps and abs in fabric. I look 10 times more in shape than I am. Also, a very good in shape guy, but I look even better wearing Mizzen and Main Performance Fabrics. This thing is like flexible. It's amazing. Looks good if you're going to work, if you're going to a bar, if you're going on a date. Anywhere you want, Mizzen and Main is the way to do it. Comfortable.af is the website. Recommend you buy one. Next question. Christian Blakely at Christian WB_. I'm blind. I'm squinting at the screen. Any alternate uniforms, any alternate uniform rumors around there? A lot of rumors, nothing of substance, though, Christian. I have been asked about this a lot ever since Notre Dame announced that they were going to potentially wear green. It might actually be green uniforms. It might actually ultimately be just a green out where everyone in the stands is wearing green for that Michigan night game in 2 weeks. But a lot of rumors. I would say it's better than 50-50 Michigan wears them at some time this season, though I don't think anyone, even Jim Harbaugh, knows when or which uniforms they will be. So keep an eye out for it. I can't say substantially either way, but appreciate the question from Christian. And next up, we will take a question for you guys. It is, where do you go to for your Michigan football coverage? Facebook, YouTube, a website, Twitter. And I asked this question only because, we do the Michigan football rumors roundup, and I've got these people on Twitter who say, you stole this information from Sam Webster and Rivals and whoever, and they don't understand the point of the show. It's not me saying these are my stories. Usually it's like, hey, here's what other people are saying that I'm getting asked about. I confirm they're true, deny, or somewhere in the middle, and just give people the news. I'm not reporting everything unless I say this is an exclusive from James Yoder, Chat Sports, Michigan Football Report. But what about you guys? I think Facebook is the best place to get your news. YouTube with our show is probably a 1A. Twitter I kind of think is a disaster, but it's useful to have conversation. Also brings out a lot of people who have a Michigan logo, a Michigan background, a Michigan username, and are completely anonymous and want to talk trash. And also his website, chatsports.com, the app. There's the blogs out there, Detroit Free Press. I want to know from you guys, put in comments, what is the best spot to go outside of the Michigan Football Report? Obviously, the #1 show for Michigan football in the world. Next question on the Yoder mailbag. We have got, there's Billy D's coming back up there. Duff Daddy, another question from Billy D. The production staff must love this guy. Is there any talk of Warner being talked about the Ohio State scandal? Well, I put it out there about a week and a half ago that there is some people who are sniffing around. I mentioned Warner's name. I also mentioned Tom Herman's name. Turned out Herman was maybe a takedown job, trying to claim that he was the guy who ratted out Urban Meyer, ratted out Zach Smith. I think that's proved to be fake news. Warner and the reporters have both kind of said that, hey, listen, Tom Herman wasn't the guy. But should Jim Harbaugh make Ed Warner available to the media? Should the local media, the guys who go there and cover these press conferences, which is a complete waste of time in my opinion, should they ask Jim Harbaugh about this? I think they're not doing service to Michigan fans and to the Michigan community by not asking, have you talked with Ed Warner about this? Does he know anything? He was Zach Smith's boss. So I don't think this is going away from Michigan. The longer the Urban Meyer investigation goes, I think it becomes more likely that potentially Warner's name gets kind of scooped up into this somehow. But good question, Billy D. Keep it out for that one. I don't think anything's imminent. I don't think Ed Warner did anything wrong necessarily, but I do think we shouldn't avoid and bury our head like he had nothing to do with it. Courtney Smith said all the wives knew. That would include Ed Warner's wife. He was his direct boss of Zach Smith. Next up, Falzan Hussein. Follow him online at Falzan Flame. Great name. That's awesome, man. I'm going to put Flame, James T. Yoder Flame, in my Twitter bio. Out of Zach Harrison, Daxton Hill, and Corvaris Couch, who do you think is the most likely 5-star to become a Wolverine? So I don't think it's going to be Crouch. Harrison or Hill, I think, are about even, but I actually do think it's going to be Dax Hill if any of them come. I think if Urban Meyer is fired at Ohio State or steps away, then Harrison becomes a lot more likely. If Urban Meyer stays, Harrison will end up at the University of Michigan. But Dax Hill, I'm giving him 51-49 in favor of Michigan with another team who I'll mention here coming up in this next question. But I think Hill is most likely. If I had to put any money on it, though, I'm not necessarily thinking any of them are going to, because what are the odds Michigan gets a 5-star out of state? But keep an eye out for this one. I do think that Michigan certainly has the ability under Jim Harbaugh. Multiple 5-stars. 3 of those guys are going to be starters this year. The next one, Chris Hinton, in the 2019 class. Can he add another 5-star to the fray for the 2019 class? All right, YouTube is the place to be for Michigan football. For Michigan Football Report, all sports. We got NFL Daily Cowboys Report, NBA with Harris Rubenstein, the Cam Rogers Show, Quick Hitters. It is the #1 sports channel on YouTube. Michigan Football Report is a big part of that. Go ahead and check us out. That'll redirect you right to the playlist. You can subscribe to Chat Sports. Next question, Yoder's Mailbag. AmGoBlue24/7. I like that username at Wolverine_talk. Hearing anything about Daxton Hill or Lewis Siney? So we know Hill. I'm pronouncing it Siney. I'm not sure if that's the way we pronounce it. So Daxton Hill, I'm giving 51-49 in Michigan's favor over Alabama. So Hill is going to visit Michigan. Got here, I believe it's the 15th, what it is. The 15th against SMU. And then Sign has already visited Michigan. He's the number 50 player overall out of Houston, where Michigan pulled Mustafa Muhammad from last year. I've been led to believe that him and Lewis Sign know each other, so could that be influential if Muhammad comes onto campus, gets some playing time? Could he get a top 50 player, a safety out of the Houston area? It's possible, but I think Dax Hill is much more likely. Michigan is neck and neck with Alabama on that one. One more time, want to tell you guys about this outfit. It is Performance Fabrics from Mizzen and Main, comfortable.af. Yes, you heard me right. Comfortable.af is the website. That means these shirts are comfortable as F. Chatsports.com. I'm sorry, comfortable.af is the website. They are the sponsor of the Michigan Football Report on Chat Sports. Next question on Yoder's Mailbag. Caden McClellan. I'm wondering if he actually misspelled his name, because it's an N in the username, a B in the name. But we're not going to hold it against you, Caden. Do you think Michigan is landing Dax Hill? If I had to put money on it, I may put that they could get him. I think it's just as likely as Alabama. Maybe another school comes in the last minute. I couldn't say at this point. Clemson, Ohio State, Oklahoma, all these schools have a chance to recruit him hard during the season, especially if they have a better season than Michigan or Alabama does. But I would put it maybe just a percentage pass that they'll get him. So if I had to bet one way or the other, I'd put my cash on landing him. But we will see what happens with that one. But Dax Hill seems to be a guy that everybody is talking about when we're talking about Michigan Football Mailbag. We had to scale him back, because I swear half the questions were on Dax Hill. One more question in the recruiting game, right? So Rock City Gallus 1, follow him at Rock City Gallus 1. Anything on safety? Anthony Solomon, crystal ball says 75% for a flip. So Solomon has been committed to Miami for a few months now. He is a top 200-ish player in America. We're going to throw up a card for him. We're going to show you some information on Solomon. I don't think they're necessarily going to get him, and I believe the people that are probably predicting it have maybe given up on Dax Hill or some others coming in at that safety role. So 4-star Fort Lauderdale, number 203 in the country, so big-time player in 2019, committed to Miami. The 24/7 Sports crystal ball, 75% of them are saying he's going to Michigan. Sometimes people hold those crystal balls back because they don't want to be wrong, and so maybe they think he's going to Michigan. Maybe they're just making educated guesses. Maybe some people are not voting yet because they want more information. We will have to see on this one, but he is your backup plan, I think, to Dax Hill if he ends up going to Alabama or somewhere else. So keep an eye out on the developments there with Anthony Solomon currently committed to Miami. This was the Michigan Football Mailbag. I am the Michigan Football Insider and the king of Michigan football media, James Yoder. Follow me on Twitter at James T. Yoder. If you watch on YouTube, we'll see you. If you watch on Facebook, we're going to loop it back. Keep watching.